I gotta get some light because I don't have enough light in here. Is this gonna work? Is it gonna make it worse? I'm at work now. I'm in the truck. I got some work to do tonight, but I got time to stop and make a video. I think that's too harsh, huh? It's too much. Yeah, we'll leave it like that. Nah, we'll turn it on. Whatever, it doesn't matter. It's like, oh, here's good. This is good. This is good right here. Hold on. I gotta get something to hold this up though, because I need it for light. And I got a fly in here. You know, the flies always seem to find their way in here, but it's my own fault because I roll down the windows and I smoke cigarettes. So, you know, what are you gonna do, right? Right. Anyway, even though the flies are gonna bother me, I think so. Maybe I can stop that to some extent. I don't know. But I wanted to talk about a couple of things tonight. One is where I came from, church, singing. I used to play the drums in church a lot, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Let me find a way to mount this. You see, the lighting's much better when I got my phone like this, and I need it too. Hold on one second. Hold on one second, everyone. Hold on. Hold on, hold on. Is this gonna work? Is this gonna work? Maybe. No promises yet. I think so. I think so. I think that might work. All right. All right. Give me 1 second, okay? I'm gonna tell you a little bit about my mother, who used to sing all the time when I was growing up. My mother would sing all the time. She still sings to this day. My mother still sings to this day. She's a good singer. She was always singing in the church. Let's see if I can get this window open. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Yeah, we got it. All right. Got a little breeze coming in at least now. When I was growing up in Rockland County, I used to go to church a lot. My mother would take me. And I would go with my father too when he was alive. When he was alive, I would go with him too. And I was thinking there for a second. I was driving. I was just thinking. Thinking about some things. I was thinking about what happened, you know, over the past couple of years. You know, I was really thinking about it. And I thank God that I got to a point where I honestly feel now, whatever happens or whatever comes out, how many flies, I know. Whatever happens or whatever comes out, or whatever the result may be, I fully understand now it was the way that God wanted it to be. You know, and for any of you who watch my videos or like my videos, you know, there might have been passions or loved ones or people that you wanted to connect with, something that felt right to you, something that felt good to you. And maybe it didn't work out. But you have to remember in life, maybe it didn't work out right now, right? Maybe it didn't work out right now. Maybe it won't work out. But you have to trust in God. Okay, you have to trust in God, and you say, you know what? I can see why this happened now. And I made a video not too long ago. I was talking about God knows what He's doing. You know. Hold on 1 second. Let me try and get rid of these flies, the fly guys right here. Let me get rid of the fly guys who got in here because I always roll down these windows. Let me get rid of these fly guys 1 second. Hold on, guys. Hold on. This is a good video. This is a good video. Hang in there, everybody. I'm trying to get rid of these fly guys. So, when I was growing up, you know, my mom used to take us to church in Piermont, New York. You know, used to enjoy it. And I remember I fell in love with playing the drums. It's one of my earliest memories is somebody was playing the drums from like another church. I was like, that was amazing. It was wow. And I remember with time, all the church members, they actually ended up buying a drum set, and I became the church drummer. I did. I became a church drummer for a while. Let me find some place for this. I'm totally unprepared, huh? Oh, no. We could do it right here like this. We do it like this. So, in time, in life, so I hope you get, you know, to a point in your life where you realize God's moving. You know, He's always moving. You know, and don't go crazy. This isn't gonna be one of the, I ain't gonna preach on y'all, not like that. It's not like that. It's really not. So I just want to tell you something. I was going through a period there in my life where I really thought, like, everyone was against me and the world was like coming against me. And I recently came to the realization that that's what God does. He really does mold us in a way, and He puts us through things. And there's a song that my mom used to sing. In church. I remember we used to play the drums. She played drums in church, and it sticks in my head to this day. I actually remember a lot of the songs. I remember a lot of the songs. The song's called "By and By." And as you get older, just like the song says, you actually do start to understand things by and by. You really do. And you become more at peace with the world and God's plan. And some things that you may want in life or really desire in life or feel that, is part of your path, your destiny, may work out and they may not. And the key is to understand that whatever may come of it is that you understand and you trust that God had a plan behind that. Either way, whether you get what you want or you don't, maybe God's got something better, maybe He's got a different plan, a different route for you, okay? So I'm gonna sing the song a little bit so you guys can understand, because I remember this song coming up. My mom is a singer. My mom sings, It's called "We'll Understand It Better By and By," all right? I'm gonna sing it a little bit. We are tossed and driven on a restless sea of time, somber skies and howling tempests succeed the bright sunshine. It's been a while. In the land of perfect day, when the mist rolled away, we will understand it better by and by. Whoa, by and by, when the morning comes, when the saints of God are gathered home, we'll tell the story of how we overcome, 'cause we'll understand it better by and by. Whatever becomes of our lives, whatever desires we might have or paths we might go down, there's things that you gotta understand, For a while I've tried to understand the truth about my life. Growing up, I've tried to understand a lot about God. I've tried to understand a lot about my family. I've tried to get people to understand things about me, And I've always felt like there was some answers that I didn't have, And a lot of that comes from impatience, Some things you just can't understand until you go through enough life experience. You need enough time, You need to see certain things. You need to experience certain things. You need to go through certain emotions. Things need to happen in your life, And then it makes sense. It's very easy to watch what other people are doing, friends, family, other people you might see on social media, and be like, "Oh, how come they're there and I'm not there?" It's like, well, you have to understand it's your path, it's your journey. You got to understand it by and by, piece by piece. I had a relationship that I don't know if it was a burden or a blessing in my life. I don't know. But I know I felt something about it. And then it ended the way God intended it to. And it took me a while. I was wrestling with God. Like, why did that happen? Why did that happen? And after many, many months and years, I processed it and I realized, oh, that's the way it was supposed to happen. I just didn't understand it at the time. I didn't understand it. You understand it better by and by. If God has something for you in your life that's supposed to be there, it's going to be there. It may not be there when you want it. It might leave, might come back, might not. That's the way the world is. It's a lesson that God's trying to teach you. So I'm making this video because I understand now whatever happens, whatever comes out, you know, a lot of people say truth comes to the light, and it does. The truth does come to the light. It always does. With time, it does. Whatever happens, I'm okay with it because I understand now that was part of God's plan. And I hope all of you understand it too for your life. You know, like the song says, you know, we're tossed and driven on a restless sea of time. And that's how life is sometimes. It's just not perfect. Things don't work out. We get our hearts broken. We lose things. We gain things. You know, we have added stress, you know. And if you just have faith and you believe, like, God will actually get you to the next point. He'll get you there. And when you get there, you'll probably understand why all that happened, you know. So whatever happens, whatever comes out, you know, in the future, some things you might find out, I'm okay with it either way. God has put me through enough battles to understand that it's not all about do you have the money or do you have the youth. It's just understanding that God's given you everything that you need to succeed. God's given you everything you need, and life is really about the struggles and the trials, and it really is. Because as you make it through each one, you become better. You become better prepared for the next one, you know? So be happy with the blessings that you have and enjoy the things that you have when you have them. You know, as we all know, we all get older, you know what I mean? So like youth is something that we all know, like it doesn't last forever. It's not gonna last forever. If you have loved ones, family, you know, try and cherish them when you're there. If you have a relationship or a lover that you really cherish, you know, try and cherish them when they're there. If you have a career or a business or a job, you know, that, you know, you're really proud of on them, you know, enjoy it. You know, it might only be there for a moment. It might be there for all of your life. You don't know. So whatever God has planned for your life, you know, but you got to learn how to trust him, because a lot of life is like that. It's hard to find out all the answers, you know. And sometimes our brain can get, you know, us to that point where we're always picking, and you want to know the answers. You want to know right now. I got to know now. And, you know, you have to understand and accept that that's not the way it works, you know. That's not the way it works. I'll give you an example. As an example, okay? If you play golf, for example, all right, golf, go to golf, you know, I've been to driving range before. I played one round of golf in my life, okay? I don't want you guys to think that, you know, I'm like some avid golfer or something like that. It takes time to get good at that, you know. It takes time, it takes practice, you know. And you might struggle with something for years. I mean, I can't drive straight. I'm always slicing it, you know. I can't get it, you know. I don't get it. And you're trying to figure it out. And it's like, there's nothing to figure out. It just takes time. You have to let time go by. There's a reason behind everything. And you can't rush the process. You just have to understand that's what it is. And it's brought me to a place of peace in my life. You know what I mean? You have to accept the fact that whatever happened to you, or whatever might happen to you, or however people reacted, or whatever happened that might have stressed you, or caused you a burden, or caused you joy or happiness, you know, it was all part of God's plan. That's it. That's what it is. You know, and like I was saying in that example with golf, you know, you just need to understand that maybe God needed you to work on something else first. And then he'll bring back that thing that you wanted, or that thing that you thought you should have had, or maybe he'll bring you something better. But you have to accept that that's what it is. You have to understand by and by that you'll understand more. That's what you have to do. And I finally got to that point. I got two things. I got the incense going. Let me put the incense out, guys. Let me put the incense out. Hold on 1 second. Trying to keep the flies away. And I've reached that point now. There was a lot of things I didn't understand, but you know, I also realized that there's a right side and a wrong side of things. You know, there is. There's a right and wrong side of things, and eventually you got to choose which side you're going to be on. You don't want to spend your whole life on the fence, not learning the lessons. You got to pick a side, and you have to understand the mistakes that you made. You have to understand and forgive people for the mistakes that they may have made, and you just have to accept it and say, hey, okay, I learned my lesson. It's time for me to move forward. That's a very, very important part of life. It's part of growing up. It's part of living in this world. And I was just thinking about that. I still remember them songs. My mom sings, and she used to sing when I was younger. I'd be in the house, running around, doing whatever. And she'd be singing, practicing, going to choir rehearsal, singing on Sunday. Sometimes I was there playing the drums, And sometimes I fought with my mom. I fought with my mom a lot, looking for answers. My father died when I was young, looking for answers, things like that. And a lot of the things that people told me when I was younger, it's absolutely true. You just have to have patience, and you got to understand. With time, you will understand a lot more about your life and the world around you. You just got to give it time. You do. You have to give it time. And when you do that, you'll understand that you have peace about it. Peace about your life, So like I was giving the example of golf, right? Like golf, right? So let's say you're on a hole, it's a par 5, right? That means, to make par, you got to get it in the cup in 5 strokes, right? So as you get more experience in life, you realize like maybe your drive, oh man, just totally botched it, right? Totally botched it. But if you have experience, okay, there's some other clubs I got in the bag that I can make that up. You know what I mean? I can make it up because God's giving you the experience now to understand, okay, that was a mistake, but you know how to recover from it, And life's just like that. You can't really predict how you might get to, let's say you make par on that hole. You can't predict how it's going to happen. You might nail it right off the drive, and you might end up, 20 yards from the cup, and then botch the putt, and then botch the putt again. You know what I mean? So, and then you say, oh, wow, that could have been, or 2 strokes was, I'm not a golfer, what is it, birdie, I don't know, eagle, whatever it's called, but that's how it goes. Another person might get up there and swing, and the drive will be way off, 150 yards away, and you gotta chip, and make all these crazy swings just to get to the same spot, but you'll make it in 4 strokes, 5 strokes, whatever it may be. And I'm at peace with that now, about my life, that all of it was just a growth and learning process, to get you to this level. And then you prepare for the next level, And some things can come with you and some things can't. It's really what it is. If you think of God as like your boss, right? He's trying to see, can you get past this one thing that might hold you up later on in life? Because I got, the next hole, is tough, you know what I mean? It's like the next hole might be even tougher. Might be a par 3, might be even tougher, right? So God is always doing things to make you stronger when it might seem like he's kicking your butt. You know what I mean? He's really kicking your butt, but he's just trying to make you stronger for the next thing, whatever might come in, the next thing that might be entering into your life. And as soon as you make peace with that and you say, I'm comfortable with that, I'm ready, I see what happened, and you're ready for the next thing. And you don't really know what the next thing might be. You don't. But I'm accepting of it either way. And whatever comes and whatever I might see, whatever might happen, I'm okay with it. I've learned to have faith and trust in God and understand that, there's some things in this world that you may not understand at first. There's things that might frustrate you. There's things that you might feel are unfair, unjust. There's things that you might feel you'll never obtain. But if you have that mindset, you won't get there. You just say, hey, I got to get through this right now. I got to get through this par 5, And in the next hole, things might take off and go a lot better. But it's all about understanding that process by and by. And it really is true. You will understand things better by and by. But you have to let go of control. and you need to understand that maybe the thing that you wanted to happen didn't happen. Don't, throw everything away and throw your clubs and be like, oh, no. It might work out for you. You just got to give it time. Now, it might not work out for you too, because God's got a different direction for you. You might have something else going on for you. Maybe something else you got to do. But the point is that I hope you all get to a level in your life where you understand that God's just trying to get you to trust Him so He can get you to the good stuff. You know what I mean? That's really what it is. But if you don't trust Him, He's going to make you repeat these lessons, and them lessons, you only got so much time here. So I made peace with it all. Everything that's happened in my life, I made peace with it. I'm okay with it. And I understand it. And if I did anyone wrong, I hope you forgive me. And for those of you who may have done me wrong, I forgive you too. I really do. And I hope that God brings you to a better understanding. And for those of you who are from my generation, the millennials, I'm the tip of the spear of the millennials, this might be our time to shine, and try and make an impact on the world. It might be our time to grab the reins, And I hope you all learned the lessons that you needed to learn, so that we can try to make the world a better place. So in closing, don't really worry about your status or your position, or what you might have gained, what you might have lost, what you thought you should have had, or didn't end up getting. Don't worry about it. By and by, you'll understand why all that happened. And there is a purpose to your life. Everyone has a purpose to their life, And, we all get a chance to tell our story, And if God got you through a whole bunch of crap, got beat up along the way, good. Your story's probably better. It's probably a lot better, than someone who had it really easy, and didn't have a rough life. Your story's probably a lot better. So don't be afraid to share it. And don't be afraid to forgive people. Don't be afraid to accept where you are, and just be ready for the next thing. God loves you, and try to make the best of your situations. Try to make amends with any mistakes you might have made in the past. And, be ready for the next thing. Be ready for the next thing. Because the next thing's going to have, challenges too. It really will. The next thing's going to have a lot of challenges too. And, as truth comes out, or, things might, hurt your feelings, or, knock you down, just, understand you get to that point where you're rock solid and you say, yo, God's got me, man. It's all part of the plan. It's what it's supposed to be. It's always supposed to be that way. And that's why they call them trials and tribulations, for that reason. It really is. It's a trial. You got to go through things, and when you come out the other side, you're like, oh, wow. It's like a video game. It's like, oh, I earned an achievement, Now I know how to do that. And once you understand that, you're prepared to go into the next thing. Like, okay, I'm going to be tested, but, you have to have faith that, hey, if you get through this one, you can have another achievement, for the next battle, So, I just want to say that, do a little singing. I like singing now. You guys know I like music. Always like music. I like drums, guitar, blues, jazz. Not jazz so much, blues, yeah. I like rock and roll, which is all music. Rock and roll is all music, So, I appreciate y'all watching. I got to get back to work. I got to get back to work, but I just wanted to talk a little bit, just thinking about that, And, once again, just, reminding you guys, some things that might happen in your life, people that might be in your life, they might annoy you at some point. I'm like, oh, and then later on you get it. You really do. You start to understand things. You get it. And I hope you all continue to grow and shape yourself. And don't be mad at your mistakes. You know what I mean? Because we all make mistakes. Hopefully God, grabs you quick enough and gets you up out of there and say, hey, well, that was the wrong way. I shouldn't have been doing that, And you just focus on what's best for your highest good and work on giving back. You know what I mean? Okay, noob. All right, that's a gaming reference. All right. And you say, I am Indian. Now, when you say I am Indian, do you mean you are from the country of India, or are you a Native American? I don't know what that means, but I appreciate you both for commenting, okay? I really do. I appreciate, or AK Gaming, I appreciate you for commenting. Thank you. So, as you go through your life, accept those challenges, accept the battles, because you change because of all that. You do. You know, you become a more skilled, warrior, mentally, psychologically, spiritually. You become a bigger, better, badder beast. You really do. And I'm not talking about in the physical realm. I'm talking about, mentally, you know. So don't be scared of that. Things that might happen to you, challenges you might go through, adversities, things like that. Because I've been through plenty of them, and I've had plenty of days rolling around and all that sin, baby. I did it all, man. I did it all. Yeah, I did. And I'm glad God got me through it. I really am. And some of you out there might be younger than me, maybe you got to go through your own trials, but with time you'll understand why, in your own way. Like God will speak to you in your own way. You'll understand why you went through it. You'll know. And in the future, as things come out, I learn more things about my life, I'll be ready, And I hope you're all well. I hope you're all well taken care of. I'll be up here posting more videos when I was down in the Dominican Republic, back here out on the road in the United States, talking about things. I'll be here. For those of you who want to watch, look at me. Yeah, sure. I'll be here, sharing my story. I hope you share yours too, And I'll talk to y'all soon. I got to get back to work, all right? Y'all take care. See you.